I'm going to share with you 3 tips or steps that I always follow whenever I'm making a zipper pocket and I'm cutting the opening to make sure that my corners here are completely smooth and they have no wrinkles. Okay, so 3 things that you need to pay attention to whenever you're adding a zipper pocket to your bag and you want the corners to be smooth. So you're going to start by pulling your fabric, usually the lining, the exterior, and marking where the zipper is going to go. Then you will either have a zipper facing or the actual fabric for the zipper pocket. And that's where you're going to be drawing on the wrong side of that zipper facing or fabric. You're going to draw where the zipper is going to go, the zipper teeth, where they're going to show. So usually you will draw a rectangle like this. You will follow the pattern instructions. Usually the rectangle is 1/2 inch wide and then the length depends on the pattern. You're going to take that zipper facing or a piece of fabric and you're going to place it where the pattern lists to do that. And you're going to draw this on the wrong side of your fabric. So the rectangle goes on the wrong side of the fabric and you're going to place this zipper facing against the lining right sides together because you're going to stitch all of it together following the rectangle. So the stitch line goes along that rectangle. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how exactly to stitch this. There's a trick to it. One tip that I learned when making these type of pockets is that your stitching needs to be really close to that corner, to each one of the corners here of your rectangle. The way that I do that is that if I'm stitching a 3.5 millimeter stitch length, when I get to the little corner, I lower my stitch length to like maybe 2 millimeters. And that way I know that when I get there, it's right at the corner. Then I leave the needle down, I pivot my fabric, and then I start with 2 millimeter, maybe increase it to 3.5 again. And when I get to very close to that little point, I lower it back to 2 millimeters and I get, so the whole point is to get really close to the corner with your stitching. Okay, that's the first thing. And just start at the middle, start stitching like towards the center, either top or bottom, doesn't matter. And just back stitch 1 or 2 and then keep going, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel if you have learned something today. I have my stitching at 3.5. So I'm getting really close. So I'm now going to lower to 2 millimeters and just stitch. Perfect. Let me get there. That's right at the corner. Keep going. Lower it to 2 millimeters and go 1, and there it is. Then another 1, and then back up to 3.5. And that's in that corner, perfect. And then keep going until you get to the center here. Next, draw a line down the center of the rectangle that is going to start and end at about 1/4 inch from the edge. Once you reach that point, you're going to draw 2 other little lines that are joining the corners to that center line, and those are your little V's. and you'll see why in just a moment. So you're going to take your seam ripper or sharp scissors, and you're going to poke both layers of fabric just to rip it a little bit, because then you're going to cut your fabric down that center line. And here is where it comes the next very important tip, okay? The other tip for getting smooth corners here on your zipper pocket is to get a very sharp small scissors, and when you cut the V here, you're going to cut it really close to the stitch line without cutting the stitches. So we're going to do that on this side. So I'm just going to cut this, and when I get to that point I stop, right? And then here I'm just going to cut the V very carefully. So you see, it's kind of hard to tell, but I want to get as close as I can to the stitch line, but I don't want to cut the stitches. So the stitch line is right there. Here's my corner, so I'm just gonna go and get very close. This is going to allow for less bulkiness, actually no bulkiness. So when you turn it right side out like this, it's going to be completely smooth and flat there. And look how nice that edge looks, and how nice it looks on this side as well. Let me move this clip out of here so you can see it. So now we're going to press this, and that will really help the fabric finish giving in and making it really nice and smooth here in the corner. And that's it. Our final step to make this look really nice is to press it. This is a very important step. If you can press your fabric, I highly recommend that you do. If you have a fabric that for some reason you cannot press, then finger press it or use a seam roller or something that will make it really flat, because this step really helps the fabric give in and finish making it really flat and nice. And so the next step will be to add the zipper with the fabric for the zipper pocket. Now, the part of adding the zipper and the fabric that is part of the zipper pocket really depends on the pattern instructions and how the pattern designer created the bag and how they, added that to the bag. So many times you attach the fabric to the zipper, like in this case, and then you add it all together. Sometimes you add the zipper and then you add the fabric. So at this point, really follow the pattern instructions. Now, one thing that you always want to make sure is that your zipper pull is in the center, like inside that opening. You don't want to stitch it and then the zipper pull is not there for you to be able to open the zipper pocket. And you can use double-sided tape for this step to help you place your zipper opening on the zipper easily. And when you take it to the sewing machine, it doesn't like shift around. but definitely make sure that your zipper is centered, that your zipper pull is visible, and use some sort of tool like double-sided tape, pins, whatever, to keep the zipper and the zipper opening in place, so when you take it to the sewing machine, it's ready to be stitched. Change it to the zipper foot, and when you stitch it, make sure that you pull the zipper pull away from the stitch line, and also that you reinforce the stitching in the corners. Don't start at the corner, just start at the top or bottom, and no need to back stitch too much, just one back stitch is good. And when you're finished stitching, you're going to stitch over the beginning line, and that will secure the stitch line as well. This is how it looks when you're done. Also, when you are stitching the zipper in place, try not to stitch, when you get to this corner, try not to stitch it so close to the zipper teeth. Just go like an extra stitch length past the corner, and then pivot and stitch, and then back stitch here. I like to reinforce that area, and then this goes down, and then you can start again and do the same here. When you stitch it too close here, you can it just makes it really difficult to stitch. And as always, make sure you have plenty of leftover zipper tape after the stitch line here, because this may come loose. It happens with the wear and tear, and if you don't have enough zipper, then it's going to come apart. So make sure you have enough zipper tape on both sides. Finally, you are going to close your zipper pocket fabric. Usually you can fold the edges to create the seam, and then you stitch them on the side, or however the pattern instruction tells you. Sometimes you have to leave the bottom open so that you can turn the back right side out that way. It depends, you follow the pattern instructions, but this is usually how it's done. And I really hope these tips really helped you make your zipper pockets look nice and smooth, and makes it easier for you to experience the sewing process. I have a lot of other tips like these in this playlist, so go check it out, okay? I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.